Okay, have you ever been stuck in traffic, like really stuck, and you hear those horns blaring everywhere, people getting frustrated,
Yeah,
and maybe even a little bit angry? Like that kind of, I don't know, road rage kind of feeling.
I know exactly what you mean.
Well, it turns out we're not the only ones who get that way.
Yeah, that's right. Turns out birds experience something pretty similar.
Yeah.
And that's what we're diving deep into today.
Exactly. A new study suggests that all that traffic noise, it's not just annoying for us, it actually might be giving birds something like road rage.
Mm-hmm.
And this isn't just speculation, this is based on actual research.
Yeah, solid research. Published in the journal Animal Behavior.
And that's what we're going to unpack today. Like, how does noise pollution impact wildlife?
Right. And not just that, we're going to look at how animals behave and how they adapt in response to it.
Which is so important. I mean, it's like a whole new perspective on how we impact the world around us.
Absolutely. And the people behind this research, they're from Anglia-Ruskin University and the Konrad Lorenz Research Center at the University of Vienna.
Big names. Those are big names.
Yeah, and they chose a really unique place for this study.
The Galapagos, right?
You got it. Often called a natural living laboratory.
Oh, yeah, I've heard that. And for good reason. It's like this amazing isolated environment with all these distinct species. It's like a perfect place to see evolution and adaptation in action.
And the specific bird they focused on, the yellow warbler, little songbird found all over those islands.
Okay, so how'd they actually do this study? Like, how'd they figure out birds might be getting road rage?
So basically, they set up this experiment where they simulated an intruder, another bird, trying to muscle in on the yellow warbler's territory.
Oh, clever.
Yeah. They did this by playing recordings of other warbler songs.
Like a fake rival.
Exactly. And here's the key. They did this under 2 different noise conditions. At 38 different locations on Floriana and Santa Cruz Islands, they played these intruder songs along with recordings of traffic noise.
Oh, so they're like comparing how the birds react to the fake rival with and without all that extra noise.
That's it. And they didn't just pick random spots. Some territories were right next to a road.
So super noisy.
Right. And others were at least 100 meters away, so much quieter.
Okay, so what happened? Did the birds freak out?
Well, here's where it gets really interesting. The birds near the roads, they actually became more aggressive when they heard that extra noise.
Oh, wow. So more aggressive than usual.
Yeah, much more. You would think all that noise would make them want to hide or be more cautious, but it had the opposite effect.
I guess it's like they're already on edge from all the traffic, and then this new intruder shows up, and they just snap.
That's a good way to put it. But the birds, farther from the roads, they show the opposite reaction. Less aggression when the noise was played.
So it's like the noise is really the key factor here.
Exactly. And one of the lead researchers, Dr. Kagler R.K., had a really interesting explanation.
Okay, what did he say?
Well, he said that for these yellow warblers, their songs aren't just for show.
Oh, right. Bird songs like their language.
Exactly. They use it for territorial defense. Like, hey, this is my space, back off.
Makes sense.
But all that traffic noise, it interferes with this communication. It's like blocking their communication channel. So they can't warn off rivals as effectively, and they have to resort to, well, physical aggression.
So it's like if you're trying to have a conversation at a really loud party and you have to shout to be heard,
Yeah, and if that doesn't work,
you might just shove the other person.
exactly, that's kind of what the birds are doing. But the consequences, they can be serious. You see, increased aggression, it takes more energy. That means less resources for finding food, attracting mates, raising young.
Wow, so it's not just about being grumpy, it's affecting their whole lives.
Right, it's changing how they interact and defend their territory. And that can have long-term consequences.
But they're not just taking it lying down, are they? I mean, they're adapting too, right?
That's right. They're not just victims. They're finding ways to cope. The researchers found that birds in both noisy and quiet areas, they actually increased the minimum frequency of their songs.
So they're changing the pitch.
Exactly. Think about it. They're trying to be heard over all that low rumbling traffic noise.
So higher pitch means their calls cut through the background noise better.
Makes sense, right? It's like how we raise our voices in a noisy environment.
Yeah, you have to shout to be heard.
Exactly. It's a vocal adaptation to compensate for the noise pollution.
And this happened in both noisy and quiet areas.
Yeah, which suggests it's a more widespread response. Like they're adapting to the overall increase in noise levels, not just the really loud spots.
That's kind of scary. It means the noise is affecting them even if they're not right next to a road.
It's a reminder of how far-reaching our impact can be.
So, big picture, what does this all mean?
Well, for one, it shows how important adaptability is for survival, especially with all the changes we're making to the environment.
Right, like all the noise pollution.
Exactly. And these birds are showing us both behavioral and vocal adaptations. They're not giving up. They're finding ways to cope.
But we have to do our part too, right? Like the researchers said, conservation efforts need to consider noise pollution.
Absolutely. It's not just about protecting habitats from destruction. We have to think about the impact of sound as well.
It's like we're constantly bombarding the natural world with our noise, and we don't even realize the effects it might be having.
And remember that road rage analogy?
Hmm.
It's not just a funny comparison. It makes you think these birds, they might be experiencing something similar to the frustration and aggression we feel in noisy environments.
Right, like when you're stuck in traffic and can't even think straight because of all the honking.
Exactly. It's
Yeah.
a reminder that we're all connected and our actions have consequences for other species.
So to recap, traffic noise, it's not just an annoyance. It can actually change bird behavior, make them more aggressive, force them to adapt their songs just to be heard.
And it highlights how much we need to consider noise pollution in our conservation efforts.
Yeah, we need to think about the unseen and unheard ways we might be impacting the world around us. It's like what other seemingly harmless things we do are actually having huge effects on wildlife.
Right, and it's not just about birds, it's about all the creatures that share this planet with us.
Yeah.
We need to be more aware of our impact.
It's a lot to think about, but it's important stuff. It's about understanding our place in the world and how we can live in harmony with nature.
And that's a deep dive worth taking, don't you think?
Absolutely.